Hello. Yeah, I was off yesterday because yeah, I don't know, I just slept off. Um, so a couple things. So I've been working on Exodump and I don't know, I might rename it later, but I've been working on Exodump and stuff that I gave to my dev to do. I kind of did it already, but it just opens up for newer tasks to kind of be handled. So we're planning to store notes on the application itself instead of just as a transport to something like Notion or Obsidian. Store notes in a central place. This is important because of a couple of things I want to do. Number one is a search feature. So basically, I want a chat interface. So for instance, I had to speak to my virtual assistant recently to help me go through my notes and find every startup idea that I've ever written down within the notes. But what if I could have a search feature within the app? But essentially now we're still using a WhatsApp interface, so it will be like a free-form text. Find me all the startup ideas that I've written down. Now with mem.ai that I use, it seems a bit limited, and I don't understand why, but maybe the AI is just a bit limited. But right now, so a couple of things came to mind in doing that. I've seen a video on Free Code Camp about vector embeddings. I might look into that. I don't know how important that will be to that. But then I was also thinking of a possibility of a way to pass it on to ChatGPT 4.0 to kind of capture and summarize that data and then send it back to the user on same also on WhatsApp. I don't know about this mobile app right now. I don't know if it's the biggest thing. The pathway that or the routes that I'm exploring that for hasn't really opened up, so I don't know if I'm going into that now. So I'm still keeping it in WhatsApp. So the main aim is building something that can really work for me. But interestingly, a part that I talked about before was an ability, for instance, maybe as a developer and you type down a note, it goes off and it creates like a project, and not a project now, but it creates like a ticket in Jira or something like that. Or as a writer, you just note down a particular scene from a movie or something like that as an inspiration for a part of a book or novel or something that you're writing, and then it goes down and then writes those ideas down for you. So those are kind of things that I thought about. I thought about one on the spot right now. To kind of help you from being lazy about some of the ideas you have maybe as a developer. So you type an idea of a startup and then it goes off and just goes boom, and it captures that idea and then it creates a GitHub repo, does everything, installs everything that is necessary, and all that's left for you is just to pull down the repo. Maybe it sends you an email, maybe not an email, but it sends you a WhatsApp chat. And the reason why I really like the WhatsApp chat is because it's a chat interface, so it's easy, but then also you get notifications of messages that you get. So I really like it for that. So it sends you a link and tells you to go and pull down the repo and then start working on it. And I'm also thinking later of giving you reminders via sending you WhatsApp messages. So, but I get that might be a bit tedious, especially for people like me that like to put off their notifications and stuff like that for a number of apps. So maybe at that point you might think of a mobile app. But why that's important is because I was watching my first million podcast and they were talking about a number of AI ideas, and they talked about self-doing lists. So I've not really watched the episode because I'm trying to take a bit of rest today. But the idea of a self-doing list is that, as I don't understand, basically so they basically say on they have like this ideas database, and what they wrote there is basically implement AI technology to generate and undo to-do lists based on user goals and preferences. So what I'm seeing here though is not so much that you give it a to-do list, but basically you write down a goal and then it creates like a to-do list, like step by step of what you have to do, and then it begins to undo those things. So that's something that I'm going to research tomorrow and going to pull up tasks for to get into this. So that's where I am right now. I just want to finish up the first part that the client required, and then I just speak to him and let's see what his concept and what his thought about it is, and then we can move on from there to some other stuff later. So yeah, that's where I am right now. Um, and then in other stuff, was watching a I like this particular series about the American presidency, The West Wing. And I was watching I think maybe the last episode in last season, and he was talking about. So he stood at the balcony of the White House, the residency, anyways, or the residence, and he was looking out. And in my mind, I was just thinking, and his wife was saying to him that you have done a lot of good. And one of the things that always drives me is that fear, not a consuming fear, not a paralyzing fear, but that fear of looking back at the end of my life and considering, have I actually done what I'm supposed to do with my life? Not so much as have I done things, but more so that have I done the things that God requires me to do. And somebody was writing on Twitter a while, maybe yesterday or 2 days ago. I think it was yesterday, and they were saying, what is your goal in business or something like that? And my goal, I wrote there, is to make money so that I can splurge on making the gospel global. So the two pronged approach that I'm seeing to my life right now is more to make a lot of money to fund the gospel. What I want is, I want to fund the gospel so that the light of the gospel can reach the darkest recesses of the universe, that corners formerly unseen. But the amazing or interesting thing, maybe not amazing, but interesting thing right now is that the corners of darkness around the world are no longer far away, unseen, and previously unknown places, but rather they are now the whole world. For instance, the West, America, and things like that. And there are a lot of people doing amazing work there, but I want to be part of the effort. It says in Isaiah chapter 60 that darkness shall cover the earth and gross darkness the peoples. But I want the light to shine into there, funding YouTubers, the Christian YouTubers, for funding people that want to make films, funding Christian artists. Let them go out and show for the light of God, that people that have not heard of him before, or people that have had a wrong understanding of him, because that's a very potent tool that the enemy uses, that they get a right understanding of him and understand his love and understand why it's important that they give their life to Christ. I'm also working on personal evangelism myself, but that's one approach. And then the other approach of my life is to be a teacher, in teaching verbally and in writing books, maybe creating content and stuff like that. So those are two approaches of my life that I'm really focusing on right now. Learning to teach and teach better, which also includes writing and all sorts, and making a lot of money through business to be able to fund the agenda of God. Make it. So I say make Jesus go global. Of course, it's global already, but to be a part of that effort, in where it says in Habakkuk 2:14 that the glory of the Lord shall cover the earth, even as the waters cover the seas. This is what my life is. I'm a bond servant to his agenda. It must be done upon the earth. Yep. So, if you've ever wondered why I'm doing stuff like this, why I'm trying to build a startup and probably sell it in a couple of months and get a lot of money for it, this is why I do what I do. It's not so much as about the money. Of course, the money is important because it will allow me a lot of freedom over my time, which will allow me a lot of time to maybe read, write, not maybe, but read, write. For instance, I could pick up Hebrew, Greek, Aramaic, and learn those languages, and then read the Bible in the original manuscripts, scripts, and really understand things. And that would help my teaching a whole lot more. Spend a whole lot of time reading, spend a whole lot of time writing, spend a whole lot of time more with God, and so on and so forth. So yeah, of course, it will do a lot of things personally for me also, but the grander vision is those. Thank you very much.